Charter Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. We are joined today by Carol Timm. She is a councilwoman in the beautiful city of Upland, California. And on the ballot this November in Upland are two measures dealing with marijuana. One of them is a statewide measure that would legalize marijuana. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
What I want to talk about now is Measure U, which is an initiative that would allow the creation of 3 medical marijuana dispensaries in the city of Upland. What is the law today in Upland?
The law today is we have banned all medical or recreational uses in our city, which is legal to do in the city, in the state of California.
It is legal. As I'm sure you know, the city of Riverside a few years back banned medical marijuana facilities, and a case was taken to the California Supreme Court, and the court ruled as a matter of land use that a city could decide whether to allow dispensaries or not. And so that's what the council decided, no dispensaries.
Correct.
So tell us about Measure U. What is it proposing?
Well, Measure U, first of all, I'd like to say that Councilman Glenn Bozar and I wrote the opposition that's going to appear on the ballot. So you will be seeing these words again as you read your ballot if you live in Upland. And I'm here just to talk, first of all, about why Measure U is so egregious to the citizens.
Right.
But before I say that,
please,
I would like to tell you a little bit about our county. We live in the largest county in the United States, and not one place in the county allows marijuana at this point.
You are right, by the way. San Bernardino is the largest geographic county in the lower 48. It goes all the way to the Nevada-Arizona border. It's huge.
It is. And so no cities, even in Los Angeles County around us, have allowed for any marijuana usages.
Or dispensaries, at least.
Correct, at this point. And so anyway, Measure U proponents came out 2 years ago. And when they came out 2 years ago, they were standing to get signatures for this measure, because you have to get a certain amount of signatures. And when they did, they stood out in front of Target and Walmart, and they said, you don't want medical marijuana. You don't want any dispensaries near your school or your children, do you? And they said no. So people signed it thinking it was keeping marijuana away from Upland. Instead, it was doing the opposite. So many people came to the council and complained to us that they had been deceived by this Measure U.
And so it is on the ballot for better or for worse, regardless of
Yes,
how it happened.
Yes, it is.
And so what it would do is it would allow 3 dispensaries on Foothill Boulevard, which is one of the main corridors
it's a thoroughfare.
Upland.
Correct.
What I thought was interesting about the measure is how it was drafted. And look, that's the question when you think about initiatives drafted by the public. You don't have ledge council looking at it.
Correct.
It's public people drafting measures. And so I know you have some concerns about the drafting of it.
I do. And that's why I can tell you many people that are actually pro-marijuana are actually against this. It's a virtually unregulated medical marijuana dispensary, and it's a monopoly. It's being supported by a strip club owner in the city, and it will allow 3 dispensaries to operate, like you say, on Foothill Boulevard. And because of the way it's written, the marijuana stores could never be shut down except for temporarily for 30 days, which is almost unheard of. Imagine any business that can't be shut down. And this could create corruption and crime, I believe, in our city.
Also, what I thought was interesting about the initiative, the measure, is it allows stores to be open 24 hours, which is unique. I mean, even 7-Elevens, I don't think, maybe some are 24 hours, but not many.
Exactly.
Liquor stores will often have regulated hours. But it also, this I found compelling, it requires certain enforcement measures by the city of Upland. Explain that.
Well, the city of Upland would be required to shut down any illegal medical marijuana places. And what is happening with that is they're saying that if they create this monopoly, it's going to eliminate the black market dispensaries.
Okay.
And reduce crime. There'll be no crime. There won't be any citizens' complaints. And what's happened, Brad, is what you'll see in other cities. The black market is even worse in places where there's medical marijuana facilities. For instance, let's look in Los Angeles, San Diego, San Jose. Santa Ana is recently one of the worst they said their cities have twice as many unlicensed marijuana shops as legal ones. And in Los Angeles, look at Los Angeles.
Right.
They have 150 legal ones. They have so many illegal.
The proliferation
is
tricky.
unbelievable.
Now, presumably, with regulation coming in 2018, despite Prop 64, we can go there later.
Right.
That issue may be addressed. But I do want to get a sense, though, of the taxing mechanism. Because for many cities, they may feel queasy about allowing a clinic 2, even 3. But they're persuaded in the end because it's a revenue source.
Right.
Under this measure, you have concerns that any tax benefit is not a benefit at all.
It's not a benefit. And
explain.
Well, one of the things I found is interesting. I thought, I'm going to go talk to Lori Ajax. She was appointed by Governor Brown. She is the marijuana czar in the whole state.
That's under the new regulatory scheme.
Correct. And I said, what's going to happen? I said, what can we do if this marijuana place goes in? She said, nothing, because they have no regulations right now. There are 0 regulations. Actually, since 1996, there have been no regulations for marijuana.
That will change in 18,
but that's 2 years from now.
Right.
But the problem is with these 3, what we're allowing is they wrote in their measure, each one would get $75,000. The city would get $75,000 a year per dispensary. And people are saying, oh, that's so much money, $225,000. This is a drop in the bucket for
What's
our
your city budget?
Our city budget, well, it's like over $103 million.
Yeah, so this is
really a drop in the bucket. And then with a sales tax, so we'll get sales taxes. Well, after everything's taken out from the county, we only get 1%, which is minuscule.
Yeah.
So this really isn't going to help our city, and all the money is going to be spent on police force.
Let me ask, yeah, please.
But I have another solution. I have a solution for people in Upland.
Okay.
Instead of the marijuana tax, what about a half-cent sales tax? And what it would be, it'd be a tax on regular businesses instead of a marijuana tax. The amount they could earn yearly, according to staff, is $6 to $9 million.
Right.
And this could go to infrastructure, could improve our streets, our trees, our sidewalks, all the things to beautify Upland. So we're looking at $225,000 for this marijuana tax, or we're looking at $6 to $9 million.
Right. And that tax isn't on the ballot yet, but
no,
it could
it
be.
Isn't.
But it could be.
I am saying that's a much better idea than marijuana taxes.
Let me ask you, though, about Prop 64, because that's the statewide measure that
Correct.
would legalize marijuana.
Yes, it would.
And at this point, it's running 2 to 1 ahead. So are you concerned that the voters in Upland may get either confused or just feel as if, well, it's going to legalize anyway, so I'll vote yes on you?
Well, I hope not. That's why I'm here stating this is so egregious for our citizens. And you were talking about being open 24 hours, but what about they don't even have criminal background checks for the people coming in? It requires the owners. It does not require the owners or the operators to even have a background check. This creates potential corruption and crime. They're going to allow 18-year-olds to own and operate the dispensaries.
Let me ask you,
and that's scary.
In our final moments, let us presume that Prop 64 passes, Measure U fails. Let's presume that.
Right.
Would you as a council work to figure out a scheme so there could be maybe one legal dispensary or legal marijuana store? Because they're going to pop up.
I think it's going to be up to the city council to do that as a group. And I believe that, right now, none of the surrounding cities are permitting medical marijuana dispensaries. Why would we want Upland, this beautiful city of gracious living, why would we want it to be the mecca for marijuana?
You'll come back?
In all the surrounding cities. And I will come back because I love talking about all these things.
Carol Timm from Upland, Brad Pomerance, your Charter Local Edition. Fantastic.
The only thing I'm